welcome everyone to another session of Crituitous RP. Previously, on your hunt for Uthgard Barbarian burial mound relics, you had acquired 3 now. And in the path, you learnt of an attack that was due to happen in Gauntlgrim. So you made a quick run to Gauntlgrim, and you managed to actually stop the attack from happening. With information leading from the Drow priestess who was attacking the city, you found out that there was another group of Drow who are on the surface, who are keeping themselves to the Nether Mountains, and made a deal with some Yak folk in Newfort, a city east of Sunderbar and Silvery Moon, and that the deal included stealing the primordial Megara from Gauntlgrim and delivering it to the fire giants. Intent on solving this situation, you decide to fly as quick as you can to Newfort to get information. On the way, you stopped off at Longsaddle so that Loic could trade in his ring of immunity for a cubic gate, one of the few items necessary for his new method of immortality. Whilst also there, Erin had an altercation with Black Razor, and it resulted in Erin dropping off Black Razor with the Harples of Longsaddle. So now the party once had the 3 legendary weapons. They have been split up one more time, with Wave being in the hands of the Arcane Brotherhood in Luskan, Black Razor in the hands of the Harples in Longsaddle, and Whelm still in the hands of Gamel on his way to Newfort. We start out the session as you have left the city of Longsaddle. You have an 8 days journey ahead of you, and you buckle down to do some business. You get ready to just prepare mentally and physically for the 8-day journey. The plans had been made with Brassic to ensure that the boat, the flying ship that you were using, did not require you to stop at all on the way. He arranged his shifts of his men so that you would be constantly flying straight towards Newfort and get there as quick as possible. After the first day out, so 1 day's travel and you've all slept for the night, you all wake up and you start getting ready for the day, getting prepared for some of your downtime activities that you think you might have to do during the travel. And Randall comes running straight into Lael's room, the private room that she had kept for herself in the storeroom, and delivers Lael a note. You read it, and would you like to read it out loud, Lael?
No, I'll keep it to myself.
Okay. Randall, standing in front of you, waiting for you to read through it and get to that last point, he kind of sees in your eyes when you reach the end of the letter, and having obviously read it himself, he says, I think he's referring to the fact that he's still got the gem from the sword. So if we need him, he might still be able to hear us. I don't know what's going on with that. I just found this letter. It was outside your door this morning. Everyone else stepping out of their rooms. Who out of all of you would be the first to be up and out of the door?
Gamel probably has a very regimented get up, work, don't sleep in, even when traveling. Others with their backgrounds may get up earlier, but he's probably up pretty early. Crack it on.
Okay. The 2 of you kind of step out, crack of dawn, out of your rooms, and you see pinned up against the wall, right next to the door where Gamel was sleeping, is a note that's stuck to the wall with a dagger. You rip it down, Gamel, and you read. It says, I understand the mission at hand. It is a hard one. The giants have not only wronged me, they have wronged thousands of innocents. Although our destinations are the same, it has become clear I can no longer stay on the same path with you. I trust that together you will save the people from the giants. But recent activities I never thought I'd be involved in. I will continue to work to avenge my parents by protecting those in the land that are under fire giant threat. I will stop them from becoming victims of the fire giants, while you solve this problem outright. Until we meet again, may I say these parting words, please. Listen to them well and take them to heart. It's not enough to remove evil from the world. You must refill the gaps left behind with light and good. Are your actions replacing evil with good, or are they leaving them empty? Owen. What do you do?
Gamel's going to read that. He's the first one up. No one else is really awake, right?
Erin's about the same time. You're probably just about finishing the letter when Erin gets up and pokes his head out the door.
Gamel won't say much. He'll just pass it over to Erin so that he can read it through. Gamel will be just a bit stoic. Doesn't have anything really to say, I guess.
Erin's going to thump the sideboard and be a bit aggravated about it. Should have said something.
Although Gamel will comment, we've not stopped in the night. We're still flying, right? Correct.
As far as I'm aware.
Well, we should see if Owen is still here, and if not, that might be some concern, how he got off the ship.
He's got a magic carpet. He can go anytime he likes.
Oh, that's right. That was a new acquisition. Well,
make a perception check out.
Yeah, gotta go check the cabins anyway.
Oh, use your magic telescope and see him riding off like Aladdin and Jasmine into the distance.
Not on an 8.
But your passive is still high enough to notice that wrapped up in a coil, like rolled up completely, up against the side of the wall leading before the stairs, is the carpet.
Wait, there's the carpet. Okay, what were you saying? Now I'm concerned.
Gamel's just gonna put his finger up, and he's gonna go upstairs and find the captain.
You'll
Captain?
find Brassic there.
Brassic?
He's looking just as he always does, very straightforward. Hi, what can I do for you?
Have you seen our companion Owen, the lad with the bow?
Ah,
you know,
yes.
the one who made me stand with the chamber pot on my head the other day.
During the night, he and Gideon said they needed to make a quick pit stop and they'll be back. They'll catch up in a couple of days. We lowered the ship to a certain distance, about 100 foot or so, and Gideon sprouted wings and carried Owen off the ship. I expect they'll be coming back in a couple of days.
So Gideon didn't come back after dropping off the lad?
No, they said they had business in one of the towns nearby. What business is it? He wouldn't let us help him out. Could we?
Oh, their business is their own. Carry on. Did Aaron come with Gamel to hear that conversation?
Yeah.
Gamel just look at Aaron and kind of shrug, and that's kind of it.
I know Gideon was getting kind of resigned. I could see it in his eyes. That's why I didn't kill the giant. I was going to have a conversation with him. I wish they'd come and talk to me. Us. Any of us.
Owen is a young man, and Gideon is young in his own way, and I'm young by dwarven standards, but often people just need to work some things out for themselves, and they know where we're at, and if they just need some time to work through some things, or working to defend Owen's family or the locals, that's understandable. I'd not prevent them from going, even if they brought this to our attention beforehand. It's a shame they left in the manner they did, but I bear them no ill will, and we'll see them again one day.
Hopefully. Aaron will turn to the captain. This is like the first day, isn't it?
So you've been traveling for 1 day. You're now at the beginning of the second day's travel towards Newfort.
How many more days have we got?
You've got another 6 estimated.
Maybe we should wait the others and see what they want to do. Maybe they want to go back to them.
They assured us that they would meet us in Newfort.
On foot? It's got to be a month's travel from where you left them.
The man can sprout wings. I'm sure you guys have ways of traveling quickly without us. They might be a day or so behind us, but that's what they said. But I don't mean to question if you have desires, if you have orders.
Let's go wait the others and see what they say. I'll go down and go find Loic and Leal at this point and just tell them what's going on. Do you want to bring Arterian? He's new. What do you reckon? I haven't got a read on the guy yet.
I don't see how that would hurt.
Alright. Get Arterian as well.
Good morning, my friend.
We got group meeting. Do you want to come on? It's coffee.
Right, of course.
So I can hunt him down and find him later if we're curious about the means of their... Did you just believe what Brasik said, or did you ask him a couple of questions, strip him up to see if he's...
Can I make an insight check just to see if they're really going to meet us later, or if Brasik was lying? Just kind of an insight check to kind of get a vibe.
Okay, you'll need to get
because there's not quite because the letter's peace out, but then they're telling Brasik they'll be there in a week, and so just to better understand what was really happening with the situation, can I make an insight check?
Absolutely. Roll an insight check on Brasik's telling of the story. He rolled a 23 on his insight. So,
it's pretty keen dwarf.
Yes, Brasik his face is completely covered by a metal mask, but the little bits of his eyes you can see and the way his mouth moves as he's speaking, his body language indicates that he doesn't see anything wrong with the situation, and he believes it ought to be factual. He was sharing exactly what he knows to be true. Unfortunately, you're unable to ascertain from him whether or not that's actually true, but you can tell that he was convinced of it.
So at the very least, I believe that is what he was told.
Yeah.
So, well, if that's the case, Loic, I think Brasik was telling the truth, and if they said they'd meet us there, they can meet us there. I guess we haven't seen anybody else know yet. They'll just meet us there, and we'll just take care of it and expect to see them then.
One way or another, I will be seeking them out again at some point because they walked off with the... They
didn't walk off with anything.
If
you guys go looking about, you will easily find that everything that was part of party inventory from their side of things completely left behind. They didn't take anything but their starting gear.
In that case, I'm gonna find and pick up the ring of magma.
Yep.
Boots of striding and springing got left behind then as well, right? That was, I believe, Owen who grabbed those prior. Dibs!
Does that mean the bow? Yeah, he has a bow? Is that correct?
His bow was his, that he enchanted by using up
one of the runes.
Yeah, the rune.
Okay.
So, no, the stone isn't. In terms of magical items, I can actually get rid of Black Razor now, because you don't have that. You do
and
have
we'll never
the
come
armor
across them
of
again.
resistance.
Ever.
Yeah. You do still have the armor of vulnerability, just FYI. You have the Stone of Good Luck, that was left behind.
Oh, what does that do again?
The Stone of Good Luck, while this polished agate is on your person, you gain a +1 bonus to ability checks and saving throws, but it requires attunement. Some of you may have noticed late the night before, or now in the morning, that Aaron has a new weapon strapped across his back. or on his side, wherever Eren keeps his greatsword. On the back. Okay.
I'd inquire about that. Where's Black Razor?
With the Harples.
What for?
We had an altercation.
What? Can I ask what happened?
Well, he threatened to take my soul, and then he attacked our tier. He was becoming unruly, and honestly, though, I think you can understand this. I don't want to risk my soul into oblivion.
Oh, no kidding. I was having nightmares sleeping next to that thing.
I had to think about the end of the day, when we're all just said and done with this, is that a weapon I want to be taking home to my family?
And with a bunch of wizards is probably one of the best places for it, because you know that they're going to handle it with care.
And they seem pretty protected as well. I think the Harples have got a good enough standing for that weapon to be in good hands. They didn't get it for free. I've got this new weapon. It's not as good, obviously, but it was that and a favour. And a favour from a wizard is a mighty thing. And a family of wizards is even better, so...
What does your new sword do?
It's pretty good at cutting. It's pretty sharp.
That's it?
It ain't that special, but it's better than the old one.
Did you get... It is better than the old one? The one with the...
Better than that one.
So he now has Hellreaver on his back that just deals additional radiant damage. Hellreaver is the name that he gave it. And now you have a new sword. Have you named your new sword yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Terminus.
The name of the new sword? Terminus. So in terms of mechanics, let me get this right if I said it correctly, or if I remember correctly. It is a +2 greatsword that crits on a 19 as well as a 20.
Cuts real good. You weren't even kidding. Real good. It's like you hold a single piece of paper and you just slide it down like that.
If you see the, I've described it in thinking, but if you just see it, then the edges have a little golden glow. Not enough to give off enough light, but just faint enough to see that the edges are extra hard and magically infused.
Cute.
So, is there anything else that you guys would be doing during the day? What kind of activities are you guys going to be doing during this travel time?
Oh, I am gonna mention to Loic that I kind of feel a little bit lighter on my feet.
That's good.
Since giving up Razor. And I don't know, it can, spells, if you repeat a spell over and over again on, haste, would that have an effect on the person's body?
I have never heard that happening with haste, specifically. I do know that some spells can become permanent after repeated castings. Depends on the potency of the spell. But I've never heard of haste being one of them without, it being on an item.
Just
But a person, no. Even for the easier spells, it takes, 6 months to a year to develop some permanency. But if that is I might be able to identify what's up with you, if you'd like.
No, it's okay. It's just, I don't know, just feeling a bit more spry.
Okay. Well, if you see start feeling a downside to that, let me know.
Yeah, I'll come back to you.
Speaking of permanency,
there's no mechanic currently that's giving him additional haste. It's all in his mind.
No, it's not.
So don't think I'm giving away.
No. I've got Fleet of Foot now as my level up, and I'm trying to explain why I'm faster.
And I wasn't assuming anything.
No, it's fine. I didn't say that to you.
What were you going to say, Camel?
Speaking of permanency, Loic, since you're having this conversation, since we do have some extended time, he's going to pull out a little cylinder with a bore hole straight down the middle. Remember we were talking about making some sort of attachment that could silence my weapons since they're so loud and basically prevent us from doing any sort of stealth with that? I've sort of crafted this little cylinder. Could you cast a silence spell on this to make it permanent so that my weapons are quiet? I understand we need to do some dickering and that's going to take quite a bit of time to do that, but this is what I've come up with mechanically. I was wondering if we could talk about what it would take to make this magically superior as well.
Absolutely. We can talk about it, but you could not have picked a poorer time. Well, you could all have always, it could be raining. But the thing is that I've begun work just a night ago on the repeat castings of my own craft. My own object.
Well, in our previous conversations, I've been led to understand it will take some time anyway for this particular thing to happen. So I understand it'll take time, and you've got other projects. I just bring it to you now so we can, when you're available, get to work on it. And being a craftsman, I understand things don't happen overnight, and there are orders of projects and tasks that need to be completed first. I just bring this to you now so it's on your mind.
Sure thing. The thing about it is that it's the repeat castings. Sometimes they can go with a day in between or some time in between. Usually they can't. So that's the only thing that's holding me back from popping a silence spell on it right now.
I know nothing about that. I just rely on your expertise.
Okay, I'm just explaining. If you want to know. If you don't want to know, then I can say see you later. And yeah, we'll work on it.
Great. Well, in that case, as you say, see you later. And Gamma will go up above deck.
Aaron will ask Gamma before he goes. I saw you working on something yesterday. Do you want some help?
Yes, actually. That would be, yeah. Care to join me on deck?
Yeah. I've got 6 days of downtime. I'll help you hammer anything out or chisel anything out. Or...
If that's the case, Gamma's going to drag a whole bunch of plate armor up onto the top deck with some charcoal and some writing instruments. And he'll explain briefly that he was gonna talk to Gideon and like make a sweet design for Gideon's god or whatever, who I don't know anything about. But now that he's gone, the design's gonna have a different motif to it. So he'll give you some charcoal and say, here's some plate. Let's just do some cool designs. Let's just, it doesn't have to be anything meaningful. We're just gonna sell it probably. So let's just make some sweet, sweet armor. And then we can just like charcoal out designs that Gamma will etch out and inlay with gold later.
Sweet.
I was going to ask, Matthew, how many items is Gamil attuned to?
Only one. Though if I get the boots of striding and springing, that'll bring up my movement speed to equal to the rest of you guys. And then I'd still have room for one more.
Do you want to
only attuned item it has right now.
Do you want to take the Ring of Magma? It allows you to perform Fire Shield. So you can either deflect cold or fire damage, or create it.
Doesn't hurt. No, yeah, that'd be fine. It's either that or the Stone of Good Luck, I think, out of the larger group inventory. And I don't make saves often enough that it matters.
If you summon Magman with it, they can help you blacksmith.
Hey, we can reduce our downtime. Woo! Get the armor done sooner, provided the DM allows that.
It'll be situationally based. Depends on it. So, you guys go about your various bits of downtime activity. Loic, your altering of the Pearl of Power. Each one will take 30 days to do, but using the same mechanics that I've been putting in for like Taemon's training previously, those kinds of things, you can make a roll every day when you cast the spell to see if potentially you can make it quicker. I haven't added the script yet, but I will to be able to do that check. Alright, so you guys have your various different activities that you're doing during the days that you're traveling to Newfort. Yeah, Loic?
Yeah, Leonie. At some point, Loic went down probably during the second day there, after everyone seemed to have gotten settled. And he will have approached her about being his partner in his first expedition into the Outer Planes, his first intentional expedition to the Outer Planes. So he will have asked her if she wants to go to Arborea with him. And if she said yes, they would be going during this downtime. I would have, if she said yes, I would have went and told Gamel and told him that we can collectively meet him at Newfort when we're done. So everyone will just come together at the end, and we'll be there probably before you guys.
Gamel has some misgivings about having like 2 or 3 people left on the boat and a whole crew that could murder them in their sleep without enough people to have like an efficient watch overnight. But he keeps that to himself, and it's just like, well, okay, I guess everyone's just going off on their excursions.
But Gamel, it's Arborea. It's heaven.
No, again, He does not say that aloud. He just looks at you and has this like moment of thought, and he says, "Okay," and walks away.
I am going to insight check him so that I have the chance to know.
You see that he is he's unsure about it, but he's not going to stop you. Partly because of the current dynamic within the group. He's never going to tell you no, that's a bad idea. But you can see in his behavior that he thinks it's probably unwise to leave for such an extended amount of time. A lot could happen over the next 8 days, especially given the dangers that you've just encountered in Gauntlegrim.
Okay, well, if that's the way that everybody feels about it, and I'm the only one that really wants to go.
No. Gamel has no intention of telling Loic what to do. If Loic thinks it's fine and wants to just run off, like...
Loic's not receiving it like you're telling him what to do. He values your opinion, and he values your respect, and he doesn't want to look unwise in Gamel's eyes. So...
Really? He doesn't want to look unwise in Gamel's eyes?
Yeah, he likes Gamel. What do you mean? He's been very nice to Gamel this whole time.
No, true. I just figure he's a free spirit who, kind of like the honey badger. Honey badger does what he wants. No one tells Loic what to do.
The nature of chaos is, in fact, chaotic.
Indeed.
So at some times you gotta be orderly. Anyways, Lael, did I convince you to go?
Yes, you did.
I did? Okay, we're gonna go then.
Okay. You have... so on the second day, as you guys are flying towards Newfort, you notice that the winds start to pick up a little bit. Just not so much, but it slows down your progression just a couple miles an hour. That's not much. Is that when you go out on your excursion? Yeah.
As soon as possible, yeah.
Okay, so you two disappear off onto another plane of existence for a time, the rest of the group intent on meeting you at Newfort. In the meantime, everyone else that's taking the long route around...
Where's Loic and Lael gone? I can't find him anywhere. Have you seen him?
Loic said he and Lael were going somewhere, and that they'd meet us at our destination, and then get there before us. And then he said, wizarding business. And you know what that means.
So our tier comes up between Aaron and Gamel, and he puts his arms around both of them. Says, the three amigos!
What is amigo?
What is an amigo?
Jay, it's a very good question, my amigo.
Is that like a Yanti word?
No, this is native language in Tatir.
You're pretty good with a blade. Do you want to practice?
I don't know. Do it seems like that's something we could do out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just think maybe we'll do some training
so
between
since
that
it's
and armor.
Well, I would, unless we have something like particular to go on, I would just say Gamel is frustrated that so many people have left, so he's just going to put in a lot of time on his armor project.
All right, he's not finished yet.
Then when he's not doing that, he's going to be getting drunk with everybody. Just throw caution to the wind. Maybe the people on the boat kill us. Maybe not. Whatever. Let's just have a good time.
Aaron's going to flip between helping him with his armor project and training with our tier and getting drunk. Sounds like a great time on the ship.
So the first day goes by quite uneventful. The winds have just picked up. But by the end of that first night, you start noticing some snowflakes begin to fall onto the ship. And so Brassic lowers the ship a little bit to get out of the most turbulent air. And for the rest of the third day, you fly at a low altitude while the snow slowly just builds up and builds up all around you. Again, not much of an eventful day at all. You're pretty sure that Loic and Lael are having a wonderful time out wherever they are, whatever they're doing. But on the fourth day, after you've been out for a while Loic and Lael are away, Artir and Erin, you're up on top of the deck and you're practicing. You're just having some fun just sparring with one another. I need you both to roll perception checks for me. So, Aaron, I'm going to take your passive. It's 15, right? And Arte, your passive is 11, correct?
Yep.
I'll take that. Okay. Arte, you don't really notice anything, but there's a point in which Aaron falters a little bit in his maneuvers when sparring with you, as his weapon just lowers down and he stares past you. Aaron, you see off in the distance a large green creature flying straight towards your ship. It's above you, but it's moving its way down towards you in large circles.
Do I know what that winged creature is? Can I tell?
Of course you do. You've met a winged creature similar to this. And you think to yourself, I was wondering the other day why there aren't more dragons.
Guess that's what we were 7 people.
So you've noticed this dragon off in the distance, but the rest of the crew don't seem to have noticed him.
Okay,
But you've seen him.
Is he seeing us? Is he
It's
making a
flying
beeline?
towards you. It's not making a direct beeline. You can tell that it's getting closer, but almost like it's getting into a banking situation to just circle you.
Okay, that's a green dragon, you said.
Yes.
I'm casting protection from poison on myself and Artir. And then I am going to go to Brassic and point, like...
Oh, men, get ready. And he starts waving off to everyone, getting everyone to their battle stations. They immediately run up. Someone mans the ballista, someone mans the harpoon, and all of the dragon cultists run up to the top.
I'm obviously going to shout down below deck then and try and call Gamel up. Dragon! Gamel, get up here!
So
Gamel's up with his musket.
I've been imagining the whole time that my eagle is just sitting on the crow's nest when he's not flying. He just chills up there. So I'm going to call up, Zeppa, hop up! And then as Zeppa flies next to the ship, I'm going to hop on top of Zeppa.
Okay, so you jump off the ship with Zeppa.
Okay, I've cast that last protection from poison onto Gamel as well.
Okay. So, here's where I wonder, should I scale it down now that there's only 3 of you? Of course not. So, this creature starts getting closer and closer, and its wingspan is just huge. As it's just eyeing up the ship, it's now keeping itself about 100 feet away from the ship, circling it as it just stares inside at all of the crew.
Should I shoot this thing, Aaron?
To be fair, but I'm going to be referring to Brassic here. I've never fought a dragon. He knows. Well, I have fought a dragon, but this is his ship. He knows the capabilities of fending things off on this ship. So I want to refer to him and say, well, what are our chances?
Our chances of outrunning? None. To find a dragon with the balls to attack Clouth's ship? I would have thought that was 0 as well.
So the question remains: should I shoot this guy, or are we just gonna play out this stalemate, just see who?
How close is this dragon?
First.
It's 100 feet away from you, just circling. Its eyes are darting.
My musket has a range of 300.
I'm going to shout. This is a vessel under Cloud's protection. You would be lies to let us pass.
You see him square his eyes right up to you, Aaron, as he stops his circling motion but stays just ahead of the ship.
You don't appear to be servants of Clouth. I'm assuming you simply took his ship.
I think if you got any food.
He shouts up in Draconic. Do any of you speak Draconic?
Artir speaks Draconic.
Artir speaks Draconic. Okay. He shouts up effectively the edict of Clouth, the instruction that he was given by Clouth and his role and title. Effectively, it's a very long name that he's just shouting at this dragon, but as this name is being shouted at him, the dragon kind of winces a little bit and moves back. Then he just squares right up to you.
Means the same to me. Either you give me the ship freely and I let you all live, or I simply take it from you and Cloud is none the wiser.
I shoot him.
Go ahead and fire at him.
How big is this dragon? Is this an adult?
Can you see the dragon on the map?
Yeah. That looks like an adult.
I'm going to use grit to get advantage on his shot.
You do hit. Your shot soars through the air and manages to connect with the wing of the creature. 13 points of piercing damage. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
God damn.
And since I attacked, can I do my extra attack?
Yes, you can.
I'm going to shoot him with my pistol, too. So, shoot the musket, drop it, fire the pistol.
Pistol also hits. Thankfully, he's just inside your range.
I took the feat, so I don't take a penalty for long range.
Oh yeah, you can you? Alright, so do I
which
have
Which is why I was asking earlier when he was flying in, if I could shoot him.
So, Artir, are you already on the eagle flying away?
I'd like to be.
Okay, cool. Aaron, as you hear this dragon just shout a huge threat at you all in common, you hear the loud crack of Gamel's weapon as it fires off. What are you doing?
Shit in my pants.
He's still 100 feet away.
Pulling out my bow, I'm going to take some cover behind the, thingy enclosure. I'll call to Brassic. How high are we still?
Right now, he tells you we're approximately 400 feet above the ground.
Okay, so that's still pretty damn high.
What are your orders?
I kind of feel like if we descend, we'll get some more speed. So I want to kind of get us to do a rapid sort of descent and keep us low and see if we can shoot and get underneath him and then have him chase us a little bit. Kind of. Okay. I know we're not probably going to outrun him, but get him to do a maneuver, shout out to descent. But also, I'm kind of conscious if he takes his balloon down, we're all dead. So, except for RT, who's going, oh, this is great to watch. Yeah, that's kind of just take us down, and then I'll shoot.
Okay. So, you shouted him to do that. It'll take him a moment to also work on it. But you see that he takes the helm while Laz mans the ballista. Before the ship starts moving, you're going to take a shot at it with your bow?
Yeah, I want to do a hunter's mark.
What's the range on your hunter's mark? Because he's still 100 foot away from the ship.
Yeah, no, it's 90 feet, isn't it? Or 60 feet. It's 90
because
feet.
Because you moved back, you don't have the range for that.
Yeah, alright, okay. I'll just shoot.
So your first shot flies through, connects.
Okay, so what's the slower? And second shot. That won't be enough. Oh, wait.
Oh.
I'll use a superiority dice to add to it.
Okay.
Okay. So
it's
that
up to 20.
Yeah.
Alright. You saw that the arrow was going wide a little bit, but something in the wind just picks it up and it does still connect with the creature.
Okay.
Anything else from you?
No.
Nope.
Panic.
Alright. Laz, at the back, isn't really going to be able to do anything because he's manning a ballista that's pointing the wrong way. But he will ask that the ship also be turned in such a way that he can. Brassic immediately responds with, well, get yourself ready because we might go underneath it. So he's going to prepare for that. But Artir, what are you going to do?
I want to get to within 90 feet. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how much movement I need to do to make that happen. On the Eagle?
On the Eagle, you just need to go 10 foot ahead of the ship. So just go to the front of the ship and you'll be 90 foot away from the creature.
Once there, I will hex the dragon.
Okay.
The ability check to hex him with, let's say, strength. So hex is a bonus action I will continue my movement and fall back to within 120 feet. I guess I can fall back 30 feet.
Okay. Yep, so you pull back 30 feet. You kind of slow yourself down and you let the ship move past you ever so slightly.
And once there, I let fly some Eldritch Blast.
Okay. It does connect. This blast just ripples through the air as it hits. 7 points of force damage.
It should be 3, so 22.
Yeah. Okay. And does that include the additional damage from Hex?
Oh, no, it didn't. Thank you. And another 2.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, that's to every roll, right? Oh, wait, I have to attack 3 times. That's what it is. That's why I only have 1 in there. Each attack has a separate roll.
Okay, so you get 3 attacks with Eldritch Blast?
Yeah, 3. So it's right up here. Let's see. The spell creates more than 1 beam when you reach higher levels. 2 at 5, 3 at 11. You can direct the beams at the same target or at different ones. Make a separate attack roll for each beam. So yes, so I need to make 2 more attack rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 more.
Second hits. Third doesn't, unfortunately. So I will take off the 10.
Naturally.
Yeah, but go ahead and roll another d6. Cool. So you fire off your shots. 1 of them goes wild, but 2 of them still connect with either side of the creature. Its wings now flapping furiously as it keeps its distance away from you all. Anything else from you?
I will end my turn.
Okay, then Nyzoth at the front of the ship aims the harpoon gun. Not as powerful as the blister, but he still goes. Unfortunately, the shot goes wild, and he quickly hurries to reload and get prepared for the next one. Gamel.
How far away is he now? You said he pulled back a little bit?
He's 90 foot away from you, the front of the ship.
I'm going to shoot at him twice with my pistol. And use grip each time so I get advantage.
Okay. So the first one's a crit, so that's good. This loud
crit should be
sound, like thunder, cracks as that shot hits perfectly.
Of course I have to roll 2 6s. Boo. That's right.
So your damage is normally 1d10 plus 4, so that got you a roll of 2 plus the 4 is a 6 for the first one, and then it rolled the 1d10 again, and you rolled a 6 on the 1d10, so it wasn't great, but your 2 shots connect with the side of the dragon. Holes now starting to appear in his wings as he's being bombarded with these attacks. Anything else, Gamel?
That is all.
Okay. So, straightening his wings out, he leans forward and just lets the wind carry him straight towards you all. As the ship is also moving, he will move right up to here. And first thing he does is he stares at everyone, eyes wide open, mouth just teeming with what looks to be acidy spit. I need everyone to roll a wisdom saving throw against becoming frightened. If you are immune to becoming frightened, you don't have to roll this save. Gamel?
I rolled a 21.
You rolled a 21. Okay, so Gamel and Artir, you're able to hold your ground perfectly, and you notice that Brassic also keeps his stern face as he's controlling the ship, and it starts to tilt forward. However, Eren and Nyzroth and Laz, the 2 manning the weapons, are all frightened. Now, in terms of frightened, you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of your fear is within line of sight, and the creature can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear. Okay? It then opens its wide maw and just chomps down on Artir, not the mount.
I appreciate that, Dragon.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good playing with Artir for the one round we had him.
That was a 23 to hit you, Artir.
I will react with shield.
Okay.
So that would miss. Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So as his bite just hits onto this magical force, anger in his mind, he breaks at you with his 2 claws. First one being a 24 to hit. It's going to miss.
Correct.
Okay, and second one is a 14 to hit.
Also misses.
That's terrible. Okay, so that's all he's going to do. Aaron, you're up and you're frightened. What are you going to do?
Shoot nervously.
Okay, at disadvantage.
It can't get any worse. Do you know what? I'm not gonna fire the bow. I'm gonna fire a firebolt.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel that if I'm gonna miss, I might as well miss some stuff. Gonna miss.
Yeah, you miss. Goes wide, off into the sky. Anything else from you, Aaron?
How close is he now to me?
He's at that distance away from you, so as the ship is moving, he's 25 foot away from you.
Right, can I cast
Hunter's Mark as a bonus action.
Hunter's Mark as a bonus action.
Firebolt is a cantrip, so yes, you can. Cool. Then at the end of your turn, the dragon leans up, and Artir, you see its tail just whip around at you with a 26 to hit you, Artir.
Miss.
Alright. What is your AC with the shield, by the way?
It is 27 while I'm still holding my shield. I will be tossing my shield here in a moment. But right at this very moment, it is 27.
Okay.
So, did I get a saving throw?
Yeah, take your saving throw. Wisdom. You're fine. You shake it off. You're like, that was terrible. Come on. Focus. You killed a green dragon before. You can do this.
Yep.
Gamel's the new guy. He's not freaking out. Come on.
Laz is freaking out, so he's not going to do anything but make a saving throw, which he fails. Artir.
Okay. Zephyr is going to take the disengage action so he can fly above the ship with me above him.
At this point, you notice that the ship has listed forward completely and is now moving below you, away from the dragon.
I will be moving in conjunction with the ship.
Okay.
While above the ship, I'm going to drop my shield onto the deck. I'm going to pull out my greatsword, and we're going to fly back out to the dragon. And I'm going to take 2 swings at him. Can I rage before I take those swings?
Yes.
Okay. I will be raging for these swings. And I will take Great Weapon Master penalty with those as well, as I will attack recklessly and have advantage.
So raging, reckless, and Great Weapon Master, you come in for a crit.
And then I'll do it again, might as well just roll them both.
Yep, go ahead and roll the second one. Unless you're going to do anything to the rolls, they miss.
I don't believe I can do anything to that second roll.
Okay, so your first one hits perfectly, but it throws off balance the wind. You can't get your second one. Go ahead and roll the damage for the first one.
And I will throw a smite on there as well. So 23 plus 11 plus 12.
Alright. With that one powerful swing, you see that he is brought down low and weak now.
I will stay exactly where I am.
Okay. Nizroth at the front, all he can do is roll a nat 1 on that wisdom save, which is terrible. Gamel. Oh, wait, sorry. Before Gamel goes, at the end of Nizroth's turn, the green dragon whips in against Artir with another tail attack for a 22 to hit. Does that hit you, Artir? I'm going to assume that's a yes. I can't hear you. That's okay.
Sorry. Yes, it does.
Okay. 20 points of bludgeoning damage halved down to 10. Because you're raging. Gamel, what were you going to do?
Shoot him with my pistol.
Okay.
Grit. I don't need the grit, but I used it anyway. That's frustrating to crit and then just not do that much damage. And then I'm going to, for my extra attack, I'm actually just going to drop the pistol and pick up Wild. How far away is the dragon from Gamel right now?
It's raised up a little bit now that the ship has dropped, so it's probably about 30 foot away from you now.
Alright, we're just going to smash this hammer into the ground and shockwave and see if we can do something about that.
So you're going to try and send a shockwave at the creature. Okay, so he's got to make a con save. He saves. He got a 16.
Ah! I have never once affected anybody with a shockwave.
Alright.
And Gamel's going to come over here by Nizroth, ostensibly to be available to help him reload if necessary. But really, because the dragon's on that side, if he eats someone, hopefully he eats Nizroth first. And that is all of Gamel's turn.
Okay. Then, at the end of that turn, he's going to use his last legendary action to make another tail attack at Artir, since Artir is right there. And that is a 20 to hit. That misses.
That hits.
Oh, it hits?
Yeah.
Okay. So another 14 points of bludgeoning damage, half down to 7.
Got it.
Okay. As it's now his turn and the ship is moving away from him, Artir staying in close, he moves himself around, gets himself just above Artir, and as his mouth reels back, opens up, you can see points of gas just starting to build up, and then just as a huge torrent of poisonous gas is thrown in a 60-foot cone straight onto the ship. It will hit everyone at this point.
Nizroth and whoever's within 10 feet of me has a +5 to their saves because of my aura.
Alright. So, everyone on the ship, you three, please roll me Constitution saving throws, please.
Is this against poison?
This is against poison damage.
Art.
Everyone has resistance.
Everyone has resistance.
Artir is immune to poison, but my eagle is not.
Ah.
My immunity is
I cast it
racial.
on you. I've cast it, protection from poison. I didn't know you had that immunity. I've just done it, so.
Okay, so the eagle has resistance, but the eagle still needs to roll a con save.
Why are you getting advantage?
Protection from poison lets you roll advantage against initially being poisoned.
Oh, did it say that as well? I just thought it had resistance. Oh, well, that's pretty better spell then.
Yeah. Not that I did you or I any favors, since our first roll was the higher one, but...
So, everyone who failed their saves takes 51 points of poison damage. In terms of failures on the team, the DC was 18, so none of you failed, except for Nizroth, who did, and these guys down here. So, he's dead. Same with them. Laz.
Well, my concerns
injured.
about us being killed by the crew in the middle of the night have suddenly gone away.
So, Nizroth does get hit, and he falls. However, the rest of you, Artir doesn't take anything, but the eagle does take half damage, which is halved again. So he takes 25 down to 12 points of poison damage.
Is Nizroth dead or dying?
Nizroth is dying. Not actually dead. So I know what you did.
I don't want to contest the half of a half. What is the thing that gives him half of a half? I'm just curious.
So 51
half.
damage. He succeeded, so he takes half damage, but he's resistant to poison now, so he gets half of that.
Got it.
Okay, so he takes 12 points of poison damage, same as Eren and Gamel, who each take 12 points of poison damage. And at the end of that, the dragon just squares up to you all again.
Fine. I'll see you all later.
And he turns around and he runs away.
Can I take a
How far does he
attack?
turn?
How far does he go?
How far does he get away?
The ship moving very quickly. He flies 80 foot in another direction, and with the way that the winds are moving and everything, he'll actually get about 100 foot away from you all.
Okay.
At the end of his turn.
What
So,
is-
Artir, go ahead and make an attack of opportunity.
I will do so recklessly.
You do hit.
And I will also throw another smite on there. So 38
Right.
damage.
You clip his wing a little bit. It slows him down. He only gets about 80 foot away instead. At the end of his turn.
How much further away is he going to get each round? What's his marginal rate of retreat, I guess?
So
Is it 100? Is he going to move 100 foot around, or more than that?
each round, if your ship continues to move away, he's going to get 160 foot away from you.
Okay, so I can shoot up to 800 feet. So I got to shoot him 3 times. That's your retreats.
Artir will also, when it comes down to his turn, will be letting loose his Eldritch Blasts.
Okay, so
at least while he's still in range.
in that first round, Aaron, it's 80 foot away. Are you doing anything? You still have Hunter's Mark on it.
I have Hunter's Mark and a bow that can fire 150 feet. I've got a round. Yeah, Aaron will move up to the back of the ship. But he's not getting away. He's going to fire a hailfire shot at full charge with one of my +1 arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. I'm going to use enough Spirit Dice to see if I can wipe that up. Come on. Oh, bloody hell. Right, 16 doesn't hit, does it?
No, goes wide.
Alright, and that's just use my 3 charges of Hellfire. Second shot. No.
Another one. The wind seems to catch it awkwardly. It flies wide.
Action Surge. Fire another one.
Another failed shot. Go ahead and fire again.
Oh man, you've got to hit him one of these days.
You just see Aaron, he pulls out one of his arrows, just... No, come on. Nothing. Just, it all
He lets
fails.
out an impressive number of arrows, that's for sure, though.
But they just go wide in different directions. That's it for you, Aaron, I assume?
I'm just going to put the bow away, I'm going to look at Gamel, and if he needs help loading, I'm going to do my turns to help load his ship.
Okay. Well, Laz fails in an attempt to fire the ballista off, and we're just hoping no innocent person happens to be in the Evermoors right now as all of these projectiles land. Artir.
Okay, so Zepha's speed is 80, so then I will catch up to it and swing at him with my greatsword.
Okay.
Continuing to attack recklessly.
You charge forward, you lean in, something about the speed you were moving, and you just miss. But you come around with a second time, and you do manage to connect with him. Go ahead and roll the damage on the second. Artir. How do you want to do this?
Alright, so as Zepha closes in, I hop off of the eagle and onto the back of the greed dragon, and with my greatsword slice down right into his spine, plunging my sword as far down as I can go.
Okay. You leap. As the blade goes in, you hear it scream. And it just starts to plummet slowly down. You pull your blade out and you jump, and just as trained before, Zeppa is right underneath you to catch you, fly you up back to the ship as the body of this adult green dragon just spirals down towards the floor. After about 20 seconds or so, you see it connect with the land, and just with a huge dust flies everywhere, and it makes a huge splash in one of the swamps of the Evermoors.
I look down with a satisfied grin and fly back.
What? You don't want to desecrate that one? Feel free.
I think the ground took care of that one for me.
Well, a dead dragon you don't see every day. Let's collect it. A, scales are quite useful in armor making, and then B, Loic would be quite put out if we didn't claim some trophy for this.
I'm gonna look at him and I'm like, I don't think we're in the right company for skinning dragons.
No, not skin. Pick them up, shove them into a bag of holding or something, and then we can get to them later.
What do you mean? Why would we not harvest the dragon? What is the company?
Can I do an insight check to see what... Because, this vessel was just attacked. Maybe now they would like to see the dragon desecrated for having offended their master by attacking the vessel. Can I do an insight check to see if Brassic has Any
Brassic is angry
reaction to
and
this
he's
idea?
already turning the ship. Like,
I'll just
Okay.
stand back
get
then.
away with this.
Okay, if they want to do that.
All right.
Turns the ship down, flies down. The carcass of the adult dragon has become extra damaged as it collided with the ground. The wing is just completely broken and beyond any sort of salvageable effort. What do you guys plan to do with the body? Are you trying to harvest stuff or just trying to damage it more?
Aaron wants the head.
Oh, yeah. I just want to harvest stuff.
Order of a green dragon can always do an extra head.
What do you think would make a good keepsake? I would like something to remember this by. What do you recommend?
Like a dragon head over a fireplace is impressive, but Aaron did call dibs on the head. I'll definitely a good keepsake would be a dragon claw on a necklace. That'd be an excellent keepsake, don't you think?
Excellent idea. I will take one of these claws.
Okay, you carve into the claws. Go ahead and roll me a basic survival check. Anyone that's trying to harvest anything from the flesh of this creature.
I'll be trying to take skin and scales and everything else. Can I potentially do some sort of smithing or tinker tool check to pull out my tools and like go to it? Not just, I'm carving some animal in the woods, but like a precision, I need this piece cut in this way for this kind of armor, that kind of thing.
Yeah, go ahead and use your tinkering tools to do such a check.
Aaron's done this in precision to cut skin for that intention, so I'd be doing it for him. So he might be telling me.
Well, then maybe
we're
I just
both
tell
armor
him what I
smiths, so we kind of know what patterns need to be.
So
Yeah.
Artir goes in to try and get one of these feet off, but unfortunately the way it's been mangled and damaged as it hit the ground, you cut into it and the bones are just brittle, the flesh falls off, it doesn't hold itself in any way that would be useful, so you fail at that attempt. Aaron, you managed to carve off a goodly amount of skin. You have 70 pounds worth of dragon scales, green dragon scales, off of the body. And you're taking the head?
We want to keep saying I'm taking the head.
Yeah.
I'm not being easy about this. I'm just going to take.
You lop off the head, and you notice that the skull has been cracked quite a lot. So it would take quite a bit of taxidermy work to be able to get this into a situation that would be presentable. But it is doable, and you do have a bag of colding.
Oh.
So you put the various parts into the bag. Brassic takes a look over it, and you see him just spit.
Any dragon talons? Can we make sure to pull off like whatever dragon talons we can get to?
Oh, actually, that green dragon head. Does Loic have like a specific bunk?
Yes.
Aaron's going to pop that in under the covers. Pat it out nicely so it's not that big, and just it's a nice. Yeah, thanks for letting us know where you're going.
On the ship?
On the ship.
Brassic will stop you before you take any parts onto the ship, and he just says, I understand you want keepsakes. You can keep whatever you kill in your little pocket dimensional bags, but none of that thing is touching my ship.
Oh.
If I see it out of your bags on my ship, we will depart.
Who's got the Iron Fortress? It's Loic, isn't it?
Loic's got it.
Okay, I'll wait.
So after a bit, yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to clarify a bit of rules for Find Steed and sharing spells. I can make any spell that I cast share with my steed, but a spell cast on me from someone else wouldn't extend to the steed. So he would not have been resistant. He didn't need the advantage, but he would have taken half damage instead of half damage.
Okay, so he would have taken 25 points of poison damage, which would have dropped him to 1 hit point, I believe?
Exactly.
Okay. Alright, so still alive. Good. Still, you all get back up onto the ship and you see that the rest of the crew, what remains of the crew, have they've tended to their wounded, or begun tending to their wounded. Laz and Nizeroth are almost completely out of it. They both took full hits and it hurt badly. Brassic managed to keep himself completely covered by the ship, so he didn't take any damage. And he just turns to you all, it's like, that was tough, but thank you all for being there. I don't think we would have survived without you. So, continuing on to Newfort.
Is everybody alive?
You've lost 2 of the crew.
Okay.
He managed to restore and keep alive Nizeroth and Laz. Basically, Gamel rushed to the aid of Nizeroth straight away, and the last 3 members of the crew did also kind of tend to whatever they could. So he saved those 2.
Aaron's going to inquire if, now that they're down on crew, if the ship can run efficiently, or do they want possibly the rest of us to chip in and start doing duties?
We might be a bit light on our feet for a while. Our accuracy in turning might be a bit off, but the base maneuverability of the ship only requires 3 people. So we should be fine.
Insight check to see if he's trying to not have us learn how to use the ship.
Go ahead and insight it.
3 people, eh? Only 3.
He's telling the truth. It actually only needs 3 people, and you think about it for a moment. It's like, yeah, it's got 1 person on the helm for the direction, you've got 1 person over by the furnace to control how much heat the fire elemental's giving out, and then 1 person down in the bottom controlling the air elemental that controls the speed. Technically speaking, you could fly it with just 3 people, but the minute maneuvering that happens when you are landing, that requires more people. So you'll lose some elegance to the ship, but it's still usable. You do see him kind of shudder for a moment, though, after he mentions it only takes 3 people. He's like, well trained and used to the ship, of course.
It's fine. You've got to work all hours.
Of course.
So.
Thank you. I would appreciate it if we hurry about your business. Klauth would be sad to hear that another dragon has attacked and killed his people, so I would prefer if we were done with our business soon, we could return to Klauth. But again, at your behest.
Yeah.
Off to Newfort.
Continue on, because that's where we're meeting our other fellows. So.
Okay. So, back up into the air, you start flying off, and the rest of the day goes by quite smoothly. The 5th and 6th days, nothing really happens. During the 7th day, you see Newfort cresting over the horizon, and you can see it there situated between the Nether Mountains. You've just passed Sunderbar, and you're coming close towards the city. What would you guys like to do as you're approaching?
Is this the kind of place where they would be surprised at a flying boat, or can we just fly in and dock?
As you get closer to it, you get a better glimpse of Newfort. It's very small, very basic. You can see 6 cottages and an inn. That's about it. You don't even see the roads that are leading up to it aren't big roads. They're not major areas. There's no real carts or carriages that are going in and out of the city. So probably a flying ship is going to be noticeable.
What reputation did this town have?
It had a reputation of, because it was founded by the Zentarim, that it was the kind of city where law is a bit you are your own law kind of thing. It works in a weird kind of way, but you are your own law in the city.
Yeah, we were told that this prior to leaving, weren't we? We discussed it. Alright, so the wise course would be to land outside. Is there anywhere?
Artir, you have a fine mount. How many people can he carry inside?
I could carry myself and 1 other. Or maybe 2 very tiny other people, for a total of 3. But 2 for safeties.
Aaron's going to be that's fine, you go with him. And just unfold the magic carpet and that's fine.
Yeah, let's just put down a good distance away, and then we can just ride much closer.
Keep the ship up. Keep the ship in the air, and we'll just go down.
Okay. So he drops the ship down at the base of the Nether Mountains. Yes. So he drops the ship down at the base of the Nether Mountains, just a ways off from Newfort. It wouldn't take you guys long, maybe half an hour, to actually travel there. He asks, should we wait here for you all, meet you in a couple of days? What's the plan in Newfort? How long do you expect to be here?
Just keep circling. We'll signal you if we need you.
Okay. So after he drops you off, he gets back in the air and starts circling. This time he's keeping quite close to the mountains themselves, kind of effectively trying to keep hidden. But you fly into Newfort, and by now, Loic and Leal, how much time would you have passed in Arborea?
Originally, we were just going to do like a couple nights.
Couple nights?
Be back before they got here. And then once we did get back, we'd teleport outside of the city and then stay in the instant fort that's got its non-detection and invisibility, like park it behind a crag.
Okay. Loic and Leal, you spent a couple days in Arborea. You experienced a lot of wonderful and mystical things. One thing in particular, Leal, you met Angaste while you were over there. You realize there is a difference, and you kind of, you remember, the spell Find Steed pulls the spirit and it takes a particular form. She still presented herself in a lizard-like form to you, but she was a little bit larger. You could see that her scales were a bit tougher and shaped more like armor themselves. She looked wild, but alive, at the height of everything, the peak of everything. She just looked happy and excited, and it was good to see you in her natural form, and for you to see her. It was a wonderful bonding moment. She appreciated it. But sadly, you all had to leave, because you had places to be, and time moves on. I do need Leal and Loic to roll a wisdom save. So, the first time you attempt to leave, Loic, you get ready, you press the button, and you open up the portal. But Leal, Illustri is here, and you haven't yet met it. Come on, you can't leave.
I have so much more to do. I don't want to leave yet.
We gotta go back. We have stuff to do. This was only supposed to be a tiny little vacation. If we stay here, then we will lose what we have earned in making our way to this place. They may not let us back in if we just want to shirk our duties at this point. We've got to go back.
And with that, you try it again, you focus. Go ahead and roll me another one. She's stubborn. It takes her a while. You have to almost start pulling her and getting her through, and forcefully you push Leal through the portal. She's not happy that you manhandled her, but it was necessary because she would have been trapped in there for a while. So you throw her out, thinking about the experiences you had, and you're free to RP those experiences out in Campfire. Obviously, nothing dangerous. You meet a unicorn, you meet Angaste, and you experience the wonderful sights of Arborea. So, as you three, Gamel, Artir, and Eren, are flying towards Newfort, you see a small, medium-sized creature step out from nothing and just wave a split tentacled arm at you all and pull you down.
Is that your friend? The one, the tentacled one with the fireball? Is that him?
Oh, yeah, that looks like him. Yeah.
How did he meet us here? This is amazing.
Wizardy things. Hey! Did you have a nice time?
I'll just telepathically send out a little, hi guys.
Did you hear that? The wind sounds like it speaks to me. I heard on the wind very clearly. Hi guys.
Again, telepathically, this time only to Artir. He's like, yes, that's me.
The wind said it's me.
No, it's Loic, not the wind.
Who is Loic?
It's the wizard.
Master
Oh, okay. I will land us by the wizard.
So you pull in next to Loic. Lael can now step out and see them coming in.
You have a nice vacation?
Yeah, actually, it was
Everything great?
enlightening.
Cool.
Spoke to my soul.
Cool. Nice. We had a great time as well, by the way.
That sounds sarcastic.
Throw the head to his feet.
Nice. You're doing?
No. I'm RT mostly, to be honest.
Nice.
It's true. The man knows how to chop things up.
While flying.
Sorry you missed the party, but I'm very impressed.
Yeah, the man is somewhat insane. He jumped from one flying mount to another and killed the creature without any regard for whether or not he'd plummet from the sky and die himself. I like him.
Given that I was not there to observe this myself, I will believe everything you've just said, Gamel. And I'm sure it was like 20 times cooler than...
It was also raining, and there was like lightning strikes in the background that made a lovely silhouette.
There you
as he was
go.
flying from one creature to another.
That's how you tell a story.
And me and Gamel couldn't miss. Just every show was just epic.
Admittedly, Arturo did a lot of the work, because, arrows aren't that big, but Aaron, Deadeye, didn't miss a shot. Not one. Like, it was 800 feet away, well beyond the normal distance of a bow, and he got it. I don't know how. It was amazing.
For some reason, this is significantly less impressive.
Yes, Lael.
Story of my life.
I think the lady doth protest too much. I'd like to see how much they're telling the truth.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Can we give advantage to each other to bulk up this lie?
Lael, you look at them, obviously building each other up, and then you look and you swear you see Zeppa laughing. Zeppa understands that that's not what happened. And then you look back at them and you can see, and yeah, something's off.
Zeppa? Who's Zeppa?
Zeppa is the giant eagle.
Oh.
Who, similar to Angaste, is actually a spirit in eagle form. So, you guys are outside the city of Newfort. As I said before, it's not really much of a city so much as you can see cottages that are all just lined up, and maybe one or two people off in the distance moving between houses and things, but there's not much to Newfort itself.
What are we doing here? Did you think the giants will attack this little town?
We're looking for yak folk.
What is a jackfolk?
It's like a half man, half yak thing that can possess people.
We're looking for
We're after
cows.
jacks. Okay.
And what's the name of the yak folk, Lael?
Kigranan.
Has anybody thought about what we're going to do after we come face to face with this entity? I mean, what's the point? What are we trying to do? What's the end result goal?
Good question. Why are we after the jacks?
Because they would lead us to the giants.
Okay, so you want to question this guy?
Yes.
And what? Find who he's working for?
The priestess that we captured knew it was fire giants who wanted the primordial. That's who they brokered their deal with originally. The yaks are just collateral damage.
If we find those particular giants, are we going to be off to attempt to do battle with them, or are we going to stop everything and go with Brassic and Clouth?
Don't we need a conch?
Yeah, would it be possible for you just to pretend to be part of that family and they failed and talk about the secondary plan?
That was the plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you guys just charge into Newfort?
On the search for a general store.
I'm not just going to charge in. I think I'm going to sneak around, keep to the shadows, go invisible when I need to, that sort of thing. I'm going to stay kind of near but away from them.
I'm going to movie strut down the main road. Slow motion. That was everybody able to do that.
I wanted to introduce myself to Lael. Madame, you appear to be the commander of this group. Is this true?
What on earth gave you that idea?
You are giving orders to the ship. I assume that you are not a member of the ship's crew. Therefore, you are commanding the crew on behalf of the company. So therefore, I think you are in charge. Am I mistaken? I apologize if this is the case.
We don't have a leader, but due to my bloodline, I come naturally into command.
Oh, this much is very obvious to me. I wanted to offer my services. It sounds like we are in a mission to extract information from someone, and I can be very persuasive if you need me to. I just want to throw that out there.
Yes, I can imagine that your muscles can be fairly useful. I will let you know if your services are needed.
So he does the peck thing when she says that.
Make a charisma save. Little bit impressed, but he's a male. Okay. So as you all start approaching into this little ramshackle little city, you see that most of the cottages are actually in full use, and you get a glimpse through some windows that, though on the outside they look like houses that people live in fact, on the outside it looks like there's even signs that indicate families live here and whatnot. But you look through the window and it's clear that business goes on inside each of these little cottages. There are people sat down at tables that are obviously not families that are making deals with one another. You walk past one cottage that has a dragonborn sat outside the front, and just past that cottage is this big inn with a sign that says the Black Eye. And you can see that an eye has been painted on this wooden post, but it's not like the image is depicting a large humanoid who's had his eye punched in, that kind of a black eye. As you're approaching that area, the Dragonborn stands up, shouts over to the group, New people, welcome, come, I sell wonderful wares. I sell great stuff. Please, you want food, you want weapons, armor, I give you special price, come on.
I'm looking something of significant value.
Come on in. Step into the shop, and you can see that the inside of this cottage is well fitted out for all manner of general goods. Not much of each item, but he has a lot of things everywhere. Basically, if you wanted to buy anything from him, he has anything from the adventuring gear and the weapons list that is 50 gold or less.
Arrows.
If you want to buy him. So you're welcome to buy all kinds of stuff. What kind of wares would a great adventuring party like you need? I can do you wonderful things. Look, I have arrows. I have a potion of healing. I'm sure you need a potion of healing.
No. I would be interested in looking at any trinkets that you may have in stock.
Well, he leans in. If you're looking for things of that nature, do you have something valuable to trade?
Would 1,000 gold be of value to you?
That would be nice. Say, have you been traveling for long?
Perception check. I want to make sure nothing's sneaking up on us.
Same.
Okay. So perception checks from the two of you.
I'm sniffing
You
that as
people are
well.
all so untrusting of just a man trying to sell some things.
We're walking into Zentarum town.
Okay. A few more people step towards the store and start perusing some of the wares. In fact, you notice there are 2 dwarves and an elf that step in together but then split off into the different sections around the store.
I'm going to quietly start casting Detect Magic. That'll be up for 10 minutes, and I'm going to be paying attention specifically for anything having to do with transmutation and stepping into other people's skins.
I need to double check, and there goes my poker face. I need to double check whether or not this would actually trigger detect magic, because my gut feeling says that it doesn't.
Okay. See a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any. So it just needs to be magic.
Okay, so it is a magical possession. So as you look and you cast detect magic as quietly as you can. Detect magic, I believe, it has somatic and verbal components.
Yep, you got it. So a little bit of hand, a little bit of whisper.
You're going to need to roll a stealth check if you don't want to be noticed casting detect magic. Okay.
Please be the DC.
You do manage to...
Oh, thank God.
Get off your spell without really drawing any attention. You look, the Dragonborn is kind of focused on trying to talk to Lael. Eren in particular, you're watching him, watching them. You see that he's also... Like, you've seen communication before with Ilya having regularly spoke Thieves' Cant before, and in fact, some of the hunters developed their own version of what would be sign language. You've noticed that he's been throwing out little symbols regularly, like repeatedly, in his hands. Same sort of symbol as he's talking to Lael. Each time doing it, getting a little more agitated.
Gamel hasn't paid attention, and he's going to ask about ammunition, because having seen Eren use that nifty spell about ammunition, he wants to figure out how to get specialty ammunition for his guns. But that would just include... I don't presume anybody's making magic bullets, so he's just going to ask for what sling bullets or ammunition, like ball-bearing type things they might have, to see if he can get ideas.
Okay. While he's trying to explain to you that he can do special stuff for you, if you wish, but he doesn't have any sort of ball bearings on him, none that would last in a serious situation. But he'd be happy to requisition and commission that sort of stuff. At the same time, Loic, you finish your detect magic spell, your ritual, right? Did you do it as a ritual or as a spell? Yeah. So it took 10 minutes, but you've triggered it off, and you see a faint magical aura coming off of all four of the individuals in the store. The Dragonborn, the two dwarves, and the elf. All of them have the same shade of magical aura coming off of them. You would have to go and investigate each one in particular to find out specifically, but they all have something magical about them.
Well, what do you mean? Okay. Are any of them wearing neat armor or any kind of cool weapons or anything?
The two dwarves that walked in, they look heavily armored, while the elf looks to be wearing a nice leather robe.
I'm going to walk up to one of the dwarves and be like, that is some fine armor. Where did you get that? And while he's talking to me, I'm going to investigate him. Okay.
So he responds and goes into this wonderful tale about the best blacksmith in the world happens to be in the Underdark, and you should go and check him out.
Jared.
Oh,
I know Jared.
Jared.
Oh, yeah.
Good man. Great. And he even leans over and he shows you the symbols carved into the back of the shoulders, like, Jared, he's the best.
That's him. Mm-hmm.
Yep. You look in, and it is definitely transmutation magic, and it's coming off of everything.
Okay, I'm going to telepathically tell all of my pupils, all these guys have transmutation magic on them. So any of them could be Yak folk.
Eren's perception would be that he was smelling. Can he smell any of them to be not human or what they're supposed to be?
All four of them are non-human, because one's a dragonborn, two are dwarves, and one's an elf.
Yeah, but I've met dragonborn elves and things. Do they smell like their particular?
Unfortunately, you can't. Not based off of smell. You can't really tell that kind of thing. Though by now, the dragonborn has turned back to the lady. It's like, you wouldn't happen, of course, to have items of particular worth on you that you would be willing to trade, yes?
No, but we can get hold of them. They're not with us right now.
He sees that Lael is not responding to him, so he says, "Okay, well, yeah. What are you going to do?"
I want to talk to the Dragonborn in Draconic.
Okay.
And ask him draconically, "What kind of things are you looking for, my friend?" In Draconic.
In Draconic, he responds with, "Items of great worth that you wouldn't be able to find in many places. That's just unique, legendary items, as it were." Finishing that comment, he turns around, starts looking in some of the items he has behind, and turning back to Gamel, he says, I do think I have something that could help. And he pulls up a little ball. It's about 1.5 centimeters in diameter. Kind of a small little ball bearing this wonderful little ammunition. You throw it, and whatever it hits is covered in darkness. Like this. Smashes on.
Well, I'm going to say...
I was going to say
I'm going to
something.
say...
You
I
have
may.
to say stuff.
When
nothing happens.
When Loic...
I know, but we don't want to interrupt you. I wanted to steal... I wanted to take Whelm off him. I wanted to do a sleight of hand and take Whelm off him when he said legendary stuff. And put it in the bag.
You didn't hear legendary stuff. It was Draconic.
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, no, fair enough.
So.
Now, for me, when Loic said everyone had like magic on them and something, I wanted my conversation with the shopkeeper. Like I was going to pull out my pistol, like, oh yeah, like this is the size I'm looking at, so I have it in my hands. Mm-hmm. Just if the conversation goes well, maybe he'll figure out what kind of size I need. If it goes poorly, I can shoot him. So that was what I wanted to do before we got further into this.
Yeah. Okay. So you would have your weapon out. However, because you guys didn't interrupt him, he throws the globe on the floor. The entire room, which is like a 20-foot by 20-foot room, is filled with magical darkness. Only those who can see in magical darkness are able to see. Okay, so no one can see in magical darkness. The room just fills up. You hear a bit of scuffling and moving. What are you guys doing as soon as everything goes dark?
I shout, "Loic, move!" And then I cast daylight.
Gamel is going to say, as though he's not concerned, "Wow, that is amazing ammunition. I should look into that." But he's actually going to run as fast as he can back to where he saw a door, presuming he'll run into a person or a wall or a shelf. So he's just bent over and preparing to just American football style run and either get out the front door or plow into the first thing he hits.
And I will do his Lael commands and do like a spin move if I can and get the hell out of the way.
Aaron's going to turn into a hybrid.
You cast light, correct? Daylight. Okay. So, yeah, the magical darkness is dispelled. In that moment that you cast daylight, which takes you an action, but you do cast it, in that moment, as the room just bursts open with light shedding everywhere, the magical darkness has disappeared. You notice there is a dragonborn half out of a window. The dwarves are now stood in front of the door, and there is a Gamel, a dwarf that just slammed up right up against them, and an elf that's now behind Gamel.
I'm going to roar at those guys and try to intimidate us. Because I was an elf and now I'm a great big bear.
Go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
Well, I'm not very intimidating.
They laugh, but they don't actually attack you guys. They just kind of push Gamel back a little bit, just blocking the way. They're not actually being aggressive towards you. But what are you doing? Aaron's done his thing.
I stretch my hand out to the Dragonborn and I say, "Stop right there!"
No response. The Dragonborn finishes climbing out the window. What's everyone else doing?
I will chase the Dragonborn.
Okay. So
My friend, wait! We weren't done with our conversation. Come back here.
So he's running ahead of you, or at least he's going to get out the window just before you and start running ahead of you. His speed is, in the Dragonborn form, 35 foot. What's your natural speed?
30.
30. Okay, so he will start breaking away.
But
from
you can call your
slowly.
bird, and he can fly in and say, yeah.
Not a plan yet, but yes, good.
While the rest of the guys inside are just kind of pushing and blocking the door, and Artir has jumped out of a window chasing after the Dragonborn. Gamel, Aaron, and Loic, what are you guys doing?
I'm going to kind of back up, and I imagine, like, I back up and you got Loic and Aaron on the other side of me. I'm going to have a pistol in one hand, and I'm going to get Whelm in the other. So imagine it's like the three of us looking at the three of them, like right before a arcade game fight where the two sides go at each other. And I'm just going to give them a look-see. I don't think it's worth talking to him, but I'm going to stare him over, I guess. Maybe do a perception check, see if I can notice anything worthwhile.
Okay. Loic, are you doing anything?
Yeah, I'm going to spend psi points on Aura Sight to assess one word of what their mood is, to figure out once and for all if they're actually intending to attack us.
Can't quite get it in one word, so I'll bend that description on that. Nervous but resolute. They're terrified, but they must do what they have been told effectively. That's kind of what you get off of their aura.
I'll telepathically just tell everybody that we've been made already.
Do I get anything off of the Nat 20 perception check?
Yeah, so you looking at them, you can tell that they aren't really... They don't look to be seasoned adventurers, so to speak. But because of the way that they're behaving, they have no desire to actually get into combat with you, no desire to kill you or stop you at all, just slow you down.
Shockwave. So I'll just hit the ground.
Okay. You throw a shockwave down. While you're doing that, Artir, what are you doing?
I am making a suggestion to that Dragonborn. My friend, it is very hot out. Wouldn't it be nice to just have a seat and we can just enjoy the weather together?
So he's got to make a DC 17 wisdom saving throw. He succeeds on the saving throw, and as you're suggesting this to him, you look at him, focusing on him, you see him pull out a little red stone in his hand, and he just starts talking into it as he continues to run away.
This is very rude behavior, friend.
Can Aaron jump out the window and follow?
You will be able to. Gamel, go ahead and cast your shockwave.
Shockwave, DC 15.
Okay.
That never changes.
With the three people, wow, all three of them fail immediately, just plummeting to the ground as the room just shakes. All of the weapons and items on the walls also drop around them, and in the melee and the mess of everything, Aaron jumps out a window. You guys are free to run outside the front.
Okay, can I use an action to dash and then use my bonus action to dash?
You can't use a bonus action to dash.
Yes, I can now.
You can?
I've got fleet of foot of my level 8 ranger.
Yeah, so you can now. You, in one quick movement, you're able to catch up with him as this guy is still speaking into this stone, but you get right up to him. That's all your action's done.
If I get up to him, can I use my action surge to tackle him or grab him in some fashion?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
So running as fast as you can, you seek out that extra surge of energy within you. You launch at him. Go ahead and make a grapple check, strength check.
Oh my god.
Like a football player with still talking into the stone. He just one hand whacks you as you miss completely, and he keeps running.
Do I get advantage as a large creature? I'm just throwing that out there.
As what?
Because I was in hybrid form, so do I get advantage as a large creature? I can't remember the
even
rules
with
on
your
being
advantage,
large.
you didn't manage it.
Alright, okay, fair enough.
So, Artir, you're suggesting again?
Well, so
Oh,
I
you're
was just
commanding.
throwing that. I was just throwing that out there. I imagine that other folks want to do things, but since we don't have an initiative order, I just wanted to get in queue. So when it came around to my turn again, I'm going to command him to stop.
So, Gamel, Lael, and Loic, you guys still inside the shop, able to move out. What are you guys doing in the moment that Aaron has ran out the window?
I'm going to run outside of the store. I don't want to be inside, surrounded by enemies.
Okay.
And if it looks like they're chasing someone down, then I'm going to think that that's the thing that we're doing now. So
Okay.
I'll run after the same guy.
Lael?
I don't leave the shop, but I just step outside to kind of keep an eye on the shop and what my colleagues are doing.
Okay. And Gamel?
You said this shop has all the gear 50 gold or less, right?
Yes.
I've got 3 stunned people on the ground, and presumably there are manacles lying around. So I was going to start tying them up, and you know what? There's some really great adventurers chasing that one guy. I'll just get these 3 all manacled up, and we can come back to this later.
Okay. So, you manacle them up. Eren and Arte, you guys are still giving chase. Arte, you cast your command. What's the command that you cast?
Stop.
Okay. He fails his saving throw. So immediately, just after swiping at Eren to stop him from hitting him, he just stops. Calms down.
Does Aaron act like look in the middle of a chase, just go and bowl over it?
As he stops right in front of you, you whack into the side of him, you fall over, he falls on top of you. It's a terrible situation. Over the next minute, you finish, manacling up the 2 dwarfs and the elf. Once the minute has gone by and they are no longer stunned, Lael and Gamel, you notice something strange happening with them. Their bodies begin to convulse and shift.
I will add one thing. Having manacled them, but having had Loic's warning, I'm going to put myself between them and the door so that there's nothing obstructing a expeditious retreat should that be necessary. Just wanted to get that out there.
Okay, fair enough. Over the course of the next couple seconds, as these bodies convulse and shift and move and try to pull against the manacles, you see that their jaws drop open a lot wider than they should, and this black kind of goo just starts spilling out onto the floor in front of them. Then it starts shifting and looking more like fur as these 3 Yak folk warriors stand up in front of these bodies that have been manacled. And what do you do now that you see 3 Yak folk, large creatures inside the store?
I'm not going to attack unless they attack first.
Okay. So, those 3 that stand up, they look at you, Gamel, and they shout at you in common. You fools, trying to stop something you should not have gotten involved in. We don't care what you do with us or these vessels, but know that your time has come. And they stand there very proud.
If you don't care, then go ahead and put those manacles back on, and we'll talk about this later.
So by now, Loic has caught up with Arte and Eren, who have caught this dragonborn.
While he's staying still, I'm going to try to grab that stone out of his hand.
Okay. As you grab it, you see immediately, this is one half of a set of sending stones.
Yeah.
A message has been sent.
I'm going to spend 2 more side points then. And this time I'm going to do my fancy new thing called Exacting Query. And so this is what this does. As an action, you target one creature you can communicate with via telepathy. The target must make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, the target truthfully answers one question you ask it via telepathy. On a successful save, the target is unaffected and you can't use this ability on it again until a finished long rest. Creature is immune to this ability if it is immune to being charmed.
Okay.
And so I'm going to telepathically ask him using this, where are the fire giants?
What's the spell save DC on that?
17. Intelligence.
Okay. The forges of Iron Slag, north of here, one day.
Thanks. I'm going to keep this.
You see he looks completely disgusted at the fact that he had said that. How long does your command spell last on him, by the way, Arte?
1 round.
1 round. Okay, so by now his body also starts convulsing.
Oh god. So I'm gonna.
You see.
Should we ask him some questions?
Can Aaron shove his big hand on his mouth?
So you see this black ooze trying to crawl its way out of the mouth of this dragonborn, and you stick your hand in there, and it just feels sticky and gross, like you had just put your hand down someone's throat, and you can't quite hold it in because this is a magical effect that's happening, that's pushing this creature out of here. It takes a round to do, but before a moment goes by, you see this. You're still in your hybrid form, right? So, exactly the same size as you. Huge, for lack of a better term, cow, standing with this black fur covering it head to toe. He looks like he's decked out in very ornate looking armor, and he just turns to you. I will not fight you, but may I give you a warning?
Hey, Jew,
or not is up to you.
Are you a jackfolk? We've been looking for a jackfolk.
I'm not a jackfolk, fool.
What are you then?
I am a servant of a greater being.
Is he a jackfolk?
Run now, before Duke Zalto has his way.
Duke Zalto is the jackfolk. Is that what you are telling me?
He just rolls his eyes over at you, and turns back to Aaron. Seriously, he stopped me.
I also looked to Aaron. Duke Zalto is the jackfolk, right? I am perplexed at what he says.
I think that's what he said.
Okay.
He said he's not a jackfolk. We're not the jackfolk.
May I go?
No. Whack!
Where do we find the jackfolk? The Duke Zalto jackfolk?
You're possessing all these people. Like, you can go anywhere.
We do not harm the people that we possess.
And then look at the Dragonborn and see if he's alright.
He's unconscious, but first impressions, he seems fine.
Mr. Not Jackfolk, where do I find Duke Zalto the jackfolk?
Iron Slag.
Your friend got that information out for me. So my life is probably forfeited if I go back there.
Don't go back there.
Leave. Let me be of my own free will.
Tell me about your armor. It is very pretty.
No. And he turns and starts walking away from you all. You're going to do something to stop him.
Are these our enemies? I don't understand. Am I supposed to kill him?
I'm trying to figure out why they dropped the ball of darkness if they were just going to run away and not attack us or anything. I don't know.
Aaron's totally confused.
This is Sending Stone. This is one of the pair. They were probably calling for reinforcements, so the idea was to stall us until the reinforcements got here, in which case they'd take us.
Aaron's going to grab the Sending Stone and think.
It's already been used,
It's false alarm. Everything's alright here.
They won't hear you, it's already been used.
How are you?
Give me that. I don't even know how to use it.
Elite hardcore, very dangerous. Don't send anybody.
If this not jackfolk is calling to his allies, then I would rather kill him. Can I kill him, please?
Well, the damage is already done, and he said so himself. With the information that he's given us unwillingly, his life is now forfeit. So he's now on no one's side.
Where's Liao and Cameron?
Oh yeah, we
should. The rest.
We should go get them.
And he's walking towards them, looking very casual.
I'm personally not threatened by this guy very much.
Who's holding the Sending Stone right now?
Me.
Okay. You hear in your mind, similar to how a sending spell would be, you hear a deep, throaty voice just say, "People are on their way. Wait. You'll be fine." Then it goes
Okay.
out.
Well, the fire giants are sending people. Presently. So we should get the heck out. This is the Yak folks' town. I mean, it might have been started by the Zentarum, but it has been since usurped.
So they are sending reinforcements. Do we wish to send them a message?
As you say out loud that they are sending reinforcements, he looks at you, terrified, and runs. Again, at a quite fast pace. Now he's at a 40-foot speed.
Can I use levitate to just kind of lift him up in the air?
Yes, you can.
And just keep him up there?
So he's running and running and running and running. And then he's slowly lifted off the ground. He's still... Leave me alone.
No, hang on. Why did you suddenly break off into a run? Why now? You don't act suspicious. We won't treat you suspicious.
Please, put me down.
Why? We were going to let you go. It was going to be fine.
I felt like running.
Really? Fine. Everyone want to take pot shots at him.
The way he's looking around, like looking past you all, he's quite worried. He looks afraid, though no longer afraid of you.
I'll just take him up into as high into the air as I can and drop him. Be done with this.
Points does this guy have? So how high can you lift him?
I would say to max range, which is 60 feet. That would happen first.
Okay, so it would be 66. 21 points of damage. Alright, so you lift him up, drop him, he falls to the ground, and with a loud thud, he hits into it. But you see him kind of stretching. Oh, and he tries to run away again.
Aaron's the wheeler walked up to him by that point, and Aaron will kind of restrain him before he can get up and go, "Are they going to destroy the city? Why are you afraid? They're your support, aren't they?
They're probably going to launch artillery at us from a distance. That's why we got to get out of here."
What can we expect if we stay here?
Expect to die.
I don't expect to die. I expect to fight and kill. Especially with that guy. Have you seen him?
Army of giants.
Yeah, well, we've been killing giants all the way across the bloody Sword Coast, so I'm not even worried about that. You should be worried about us. We're just playing with you, and you're nothing.
Artir starts to speak up, and then he realizes that there's someone listening, and then he stops speaking. I want to tell you guys something, but we can't have him listening. So let's either kill him, or let's get back on the ship.
Are they going to destroy this town?
If you remain in the town, yes.
Is there anything else we should know? You tell us what you know, and we'll leave.
Roll an intimidation check. With advantage, because he's a weakling compared to all of you. So, 17. He's like, fine. Duke Salto has an army of fire giants. I told him that his people, the Drow, failed, and adventurers are here to stop him. He will send his men out hunting for you. I want to get out of town, so I'm nowhere near you when he comes.
Anything else?
That's it.
How many of you are in control of the city? Is there any Zentarum left in it?
The Zentarum have long since left Newfort, but we are spread over many places.
Know that we're sparing your lives.
Yes, I'm very grateful for the behaviour you've been giving me.
We're being nice. Aaron's going to let him go. Remember that.
So a moment later, Gamel and Lael, who have been stood around these three yak folk who have just stood there like proud statues. What are you being?
Well, I was wondering, could we in media res just come back to Lael and Gamel like smoking with the three of them on the ground in shackles again, just like waiting for the other three to show up? If Lael doesn't want to do that, that's fine. But I just think that'd be a funny cut back, and that's just what's going on.
You should try the salted pork.
If DM's cool with that, I think that's what we'd like to do.
Okay. They ignore you. They don't say anything to you, unless you really try to get something out of them. A couple minutes go by, and another yak folk walks away from Eren, Artir, and Loic towards the store, at which point, as soon as he arrives, those three stand back up. May I take my people and leave?
Yeah, but we're going to take what we want from your shop.
Okay. With his 3 people in tow, they leave, and you notice that they head out south of the city. Straight south towards the mountains.
Opposite direction of Ironslag.
Opposite direction of Ironslag.
But the Nether Mountains are the south of us, and that's where the Drow
are. So what happened, guys? Why are we letting them go?
They gave us what we needed, and they didn't want to fight us. So it was like, what's the point?
So does anyone own what's in this building? The one that's full of gear just laying around with apparently no one who owns it.
Yeah, feel free to dig in.
The Dragon Board probably owns it. The Dragon...
Oh, that's right.
Right, yeah, not the things possessing them, but let's just grab what you need. The best thing we could do is leave before these guys, and make it very public that we've left before these guys slag us out.
The thing I wanted to tell you guys is if they are sending an army here, that army is not going to be present where the army was present before they sent the army here. So we could go to where they were and not have to encounter them.
Love it. That is if they were still our enemies. Are we still doing that? We do need Zalto there to get the thing from him.
He might not be coming himself. He might just be sending his henchmen.
If you told us what he said he's sending people. He didn't say he's coming.
That's the message that you heard, Loic, was that he is sending people.
Okay. Alright, well, let's go back to the ship or something.
Gamel is gonna walk... So we're all sort of talking. Gamel's gonna walk out on the middle of the street, just raise his pistol and just fire it 3 or 4 times, and just yell. What were some of the names that were called? Like the Twilight something?
Twilight Errand.
Twilight's Errand was what the elves call you. What were some of the other ones I said? You are the lovable fools by Jim Jar.
Demon's
Lolth
Bane
calls you... Yeah, Demon's Bane is what Gaunt or Grim call you.
Alright, so he's just going to fire off 3 shots and just shout loud enough for everybody to hear. Listen up, everybody. This is Demon's Bane, Twilight's
Errand.
Twilight's Errand, and the lovable fools. We got what we want, and we're leaving. And if any of you follow us, you'll regret it. And then shoot off a couple more shots. And be like, alright, let's go. Let's get out of here.
Lael, what are you doing?
Are there any shiny baubles here, just lying around in view?
There is a shiny bauble, which you've used before in winter's solstice celebrations to decorate a tree. It is a shiny bauble. It's red.
How much is this worth?
In a shop with no shopkeeper.
Well, the hosts aren't dead. They're just unconscious, and I'm not a thief, so how much is it?
Okay. Unfortunately, there is no tags. You look over it, it's probably worth maybe 5 copper.
Okay, I leave 10 copper on the counter.
Okay. You've now bought a bauble. Okay. Yes, Aaron, you restock your arrows. They're all basic arrows, by the way. Okay. So you guys head back towards the ship, I'm assuming?
Gonna fire up a fireball in the air and try and signal them to come down.
The ship would have by now already started moving down because they would have heard the shots from Gamel and assumed you needed help. So you see the ship lower itself down very quickly to your location. Brassic stands to the side. What's going on? What must we do?
We're leaving! Drop a rope!
Oh, okay. Throws the ladder over the top. You guys are free to climb up on. By now, the rest of the town has started kind of gathering out of the little places that they were in, doing the business. Everyone looks shady, and everyone looks concerned. But no one approaches you. They just watch you as you leave. Murmurs to themselves.
Aaron's going to climb the ladder and going, yeah, Netherwinter Mountains. We're going to Netherwinter Mountains as loud as you can. We've got to chase those drow. And then to Brassic, we're going north to Citadel Abba. Very quietly.
Neverwinter Mountains or Nether?
Nether Mountains, sorry. Fly around in a circle and head out. So we can sort of circle down and come back up wide so no one can see us.
Did you mean Adbar or did you mean Felbar?
Don't know. Which one did they say?
Felbar. Felbar is the one that Dan wants to check out.
Isn't that the one where the giants are at? Felbar was the one they're at, isn't it?
No, so the giants are at
Felbar is the one that
Ironslag.
went silent.
Oh, so we want to go to Ironslag, which is to the north. So we want to hit that fast.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, But basically, everyone's trying to throw them off to maybe they'll follow us or whatever.
So he starts heading the ship north, but he does turn to you and say, I do not know where this Ironslag is. Where am I headed?
I might know. That might be within my realm of information of studies, because Ironslag used to be a place.
Okay.
Set course for Citadel Felbar, and if we get better directions before then, we'll change course.
I got 24.
Okay, you do know that Ironslag is an old, ancient forge that is in the Ice Spire Mountains just to the east of the Coldwood. So you know roughly where it is.
Mm.
If you guys look up north, you will see a green square and some grey squares. That's supposed to be where Ironslag is. But Brassic is confused because he got the instruction from Gamel to go to Felbar.
Okay, well, we'll just go north. Because, I presumed it was the same place. So, go north. Because surely he can't be getting reinforcements from that far away. That's where it is on the map. So
Not
surely they're coming
too
from Felbar.
You know that it might be moving, but you don't know how long it would take them to get there. If they're coming from that location, then it might take them a while. A couple days, maybe.
It seems to me like those guys felt like it was pretty urgent, that those guys would be on us soon. So did we get that impression that they felt the urgency to leave? So these guys, the reinforcements they imagine they're coming from must be pretty close.
You did feel that they needed to get away, but not so much away from the town as you. What mattered most is that they got away from you.
Okay.
So, for my sanity, I need to know, are we going to Ironslag or Felbar? Because I'm confused.
If reinforcements are coming down from Ironslag, they would have to pass on the east side of the Ralvin Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it would behoove us to swing through Felbar and then come up around the west side so we avoid running into them.
Mm-hmm.
I think going around the west side, and this is to the group, this is Gamble saying, I think going around the west side gives us more protection, gives us a chance to perhaps come in unnoticed. I do have the selfish desire to stop briefly in Citadel Felbar for some guild business. I do think going west, regardless, is the appropriate course of action.
Do you think that these body-possessing jacks, they might be in Felbar? And if we go there, they can alert the Ironslaggers?
Well, all the better. Then the army will be on the other side of the Raven Mountains, and we can continue on our way, and they'll have to circumnavigate the entire mountain range to get to us.
You are more familiar with this territory than I am. I trust your judgment.
I will admit, Artir, that I am looking at the map. I've not been this far east.
You are very modest. You are a very bright, brilliant dwarf.
Loic, those sending stones, do they actually impart who the user is, or is it just like a physical, mental thing? Or I've never used one.
It's like, have you ever taken a jar and put a string on it, and then put another jar on the other end of the string, and you go out a window or something, and you talk to your buddy through it, and you can kind of hear him?
I have no idea what you're on about.
The person who uses it is a mystery.
That's what I
you're
want to
asking.
know. Yes.
Yes.
If you heard that person's voice again, you'd recognize the voice.
I've got a good idea, a theory as to who it was, but I can't say that for sure.
Would they recognize your voice if you went? Well,
No.
That's my question.
I haven't spoken to him.
Yeah, but could he tell the difference between you and the Yak-uza?
Yeah, my voice was not like his. I'm not that good of an actor.
But that thing can possess things anyway, so his voice won't change all the time. I wonder if we can use it to send this information.
It's possible. We need another data pass.
That's a great distance away.
So, over the time, he starts shifting flying the ship towards Citadel Felbar, or towards the area that Citadel Felbar should be. It takes the vast majority of the rest of the day to do so. You head out. It's just cresting over nighttime as you guys approach the edge of the mountainside. And what you notice when you're approaching Citadel Felbar is that there is a very neat cleft in the mountains that has just been carved out. Everything looks natural, rock formations, then suddenly a straight path cut deep into the mountains. And it's wide enough that the ship is able to actually fly into. And as you're going through this tight tunnel that opens straight up to the sky, he lowers and lowers the ship as you move further and further into this entryway. After about a mile or so into this long trench, you see that the walls, the neat carving suddenly shifts and changes. Now it's looking a little more decorative and ornate. And then there is a point where the tunnel opens up a little bit wider. And you see two huge statues that just loom high over the head, hundreds of feet. One carved out to look like a giant hammer, almost identical to Whelm. And another that looks carved like a giant anvil. And they're in the position as if to strike. And directly underneath them, you can see this huge, ornate door that's up against the mountainside that's closed and blocking your way, effectively.
So any sign of
sets down, doesn't seem to be damaged at all. You don't see anyone outside of the city. There is an area that you notice that's directly about 100 feet in front of the doors that looks to be like a meeting point of sorts. There's a little tent there, but it's been broken down. No one's in it. There's a pedestal where someone would be standing up against as if speaking to an audience, but there's no one there.
Just a reminder, we're here only because Citadel Felbar has gone silent. The usual communication hasn't come through. That could be normal. It happens every once in a blue moon. Don't have any reason to think that anything's wrong here. Just need to stop by, say hello to some people, see how some things are doing. However, given recent events, if something else has been a problem, it's worth just finding out what that is to see if it's part of a bigger picture. So just, that's where we're at.
I would like to acquire the teleportation sigil, if that's an option while we're here.
Great. Well, I'm going to go up and knock on the door with Whelm. Just going to like, bam, bam, bam.
You almost feel excitement from Whelm as he gets closer to the door. As you hit it with loud, the sound just echoing through the trench and deep within the inside. Moments go by and there's no response. Then a little window in the door opens up and you can see it's at the same height as Gamel is. So at dwarf height you can see the big bright eyes with ginger hair just covering everything, blocking up the entryway. What do you want?
Member of the most careful order of skilled smith and metal forgers, here on guild business. Just want to come in.
Felbar is closed. And he goes to close his little hatch.
I'll stick my hand in so I can't close the hatch.
Get your hand out.
I don't think you heard. Most skillful order of skilled smith and metal forgers. Like, literally what this place is about, forging. Like, I'm representative guild business, open in the name of the guild.
Make a persuasion check with advantage. Because he recognizes the guild. He kind of softens a little bit. Look, I wish I could let a fellow guild member in, but the city is closed. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do.
Why?
Does he look afraid?
Make an insight check.
I'm going to do it with advantage. Shift my psychic focus.
Unfortunately, I do have to bounce, so Ty or Casey, if I'd like to, any of you actually, who'd like to run Gamble, please go right ahead, okay? So it's been an absolute pleasure. I'll catch up with you guys on Skype later. Thanks.
Okay, no problem.
Good night.
Have fun.
Have fun at the luau.
Thanks.
Send pictures.
So, Loic, you have advantage, right?
Yep.
He looks afraid. He looks quite concerned. Something's wrong.
I'm going to lean in close and say, does the word dragon have anything to do with anything?
He leans in closer. No. What have you heard?
Can I insight check him again to see if he's just trying to pull information out of me?
Roll another insight check. He just generally looked confused.
Okay, alright, good.
Yeah.
When we were in Gauntlgrim, it was infiltrated by a blue. The blue seemed to have good intent when she arrived under a disguise, but she had her own ulterior motives, and it ended up causing a little bit of catastrophe. Nothing that put the dwarves down permanently or anything. They're back on their feet again, but there's something going on, and we just wanted to check up on you guys, make sure you're okay. Are you?
We haven't had any problems with dragons. Look, I really shouldn't be talking to you guys that much. The king has put the city on lockdown. We've got a bit of a political problem.
This dragon is blue. Her name is Imrith. She came to King Bruner in the guise of a drow that sought peace. So they are capable of shifting forms.
Do you have a way of identifying true forms and who's not in their true form?
All I can do is, like many mages, I can see the magic that they've got activated at the time. But Imrith, I don't know what she was doing, but she somehow blocked my ability to see it. You know what? What we did is we decided next time anyone new comes into the city, they'd put them in one of those anti-magic cells. That way, all magic is stripped off of them.
I'll tap Loic on the shoulder. Wait, what? We had a gem of true sight.
I sold it a long time ago.
God damn, we could have done that. Alright.
I thought I had true sight.
You guys hold on 1 second. Well, you did have true sight, you just didn't have... Yeah, so... He closes the hatch, disappears for a moment. You can hear behind the door that he's obviously run off somewhere, and a couple minutes go by before he comes back. He opens the hatch again. You still there? Oh, good. Right. If you're able to identify who's who, might have some work for you.
I can do that. Is it a lot of bodies?
We can split the workload. I can do it as well. If we just change detect manage, yeah, I can do.
You can identify.
I can do detect magic if that's what we do.
Well, I don't know what methods you have to identify. Hold one more second. Closes the hatch. You hear a bunch of latches. He opens the door, and looking behind him, he closes it behind him. And obviously looking quite, scared and afraid, trying to keep hushed voices. There was an attack on the king. Some creature, looked like a giant cow, in the guise of something else, of one of the people of the city, attacked the king 3 days ago.
Yak folk.
Since then, no one has been allowed in or out of the city. No communication has happened at all until the king can figure out how to identify who is a dwarf dwarf and who isn't. If
We
you
just
tell
did
me
that.
you can identify that, then I'll take you to the king.
Did you see the magic, Chloe?
I saw the transmutation magic, yes. So
And there's 3 of us that can see them.
so
Do
long
you
as it's
have
not a
any way of proving who's human and who's not? It's all well and good that you can tell, but can you prove it?
Yes, we can. But evil and good can unpossess people. I can do that. They're possessing.
Oh yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
We
yeah,
can
once
cast-
we find him, we can
Okay,
do that.
then come with me. And he opens the door one more time and hurries the 5 of you into the place. And you can see now the grand vaulted halls of Citadel Felbar. It cuts deep into the mountain, closes the door behind you, heavy, loud thud, as he drops a bunch of different bars and locks in place. You can see the hallway just continues on, but there's no one in sight. No one outside at all. And he leads you through the city, and you can see that there are people inside their rooms, inside houses and shops, but no one's traveling about the city at all. It looks dead and quiet, and it's quite eerie and cold. And Gamel he almost seems a little disheartened. Like, he knows that this city is supposed to be a great place for merchants to travel to and work, but to see the life just taken out of this place is heartbreaking for him. After a while, he winds you down some of the steps and the areas. You come to the hall of the king, and you see a king and queen both sat in huge, ornate thrones. No advisors. No guard, completely alone in the room. No one's allowed within a certain range of them, and he pulls you up and he mentions to you as he approaches, do not approach more than 150 feet closer to him, or you will be attacked. And he lines up to that point exactly and calls out to the king, King Morin, Queen Tithmel, may I present... Who are you?
Twilight Errand.
May I present Twilight's Errand, great adventurers from out yonder. They have come with great news. They possess a way of identifying who is a true dwarf and who isn't.
Can Aaron look at Queen Toothmill's reaction to this?
Yeah, roll insight checks on them.
The last one, like, the king's probably well known, but I'm not, like, maybe the queen isn't, and being that Bruna had a female advisor, I'm being really sexist and chauvinist here. I want to check Bruna.
Go ahead and roll a insight on her reaction to the news. You tell that she seems to light up a little bit, like she seems pleased at that news.
Okay. Does he seem pleased?
He does. The king, he looks more relieved at that news, and before calling you over, he kind of waves and shoos off the other dwarf. Go. And then turns to you all. How do I know you're not these yak folk in disguise?
Good king, I can't honestly give you an answer on that.
Do you have anyone within your court that can detect magic?
Sadly, no.
Do you have any magical items that can detect magic? Oh, we have... Well, Matt's not here, so I don't know about suggesting this, but we do have Whelm.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. So, if you suggest to Gamel that... What are you suggesting? That Whelm just speaks out loud, or that he physically gets handed over kind of thing?
Is a legendary magical item to speak out loud and say, this is the great weapon forged by Whelm, and he couldn't possibly be possessed by one of these creatures, so...
As Whelm himself, Whelm speaks up, say, it's true. This guy's good. You can trust him. I do. He makes great ginger ale. It's good. The king does lighten up a little bit. It's like, okay, all right. I will trust you. Because I have heard of that hammer, though I'm interested to know how you found it. But that's a story for another day. How can you aid my city?
Shall I? Or
Yeah.
Right. What we're going to do is we're going to, me and my associates here, we're going to detect magic on your people, and we're going to be specifically hunting for transmutation magic. When we find it, we will cast a protection spell on them, so that if they are, in fact, taken over at the time by a Yak-folk, which is what they are, they will be expelled from the body.
Artier will clear his throat. Look, I don't know if we have time to investigate all the peoples here. We were supposed to go to Ironslag before the giants returned.
Good point. We are in a bit of a rush. There is more than just Citadel Felbar for us to be taking care of at this time of chaos. So our time is very precious and limited. We were hoping it would not be very many people, but that you might have a list of suspicious folk.
We can narrow down who left the city recently, and their immediate associates. Maybe we can whittle it down. There are currently 20,000 people in the city.
Yeah, we can't do that many. But I noticed that you're lacking advisors and all of your right-hand men. Perhaps it would be best to start with them and at least get them done. And that way, if you have a unit that you know you can trust, maybe you guys can take it from there.
Okay. I believe that if my men are trustworthy, I can trust them to continue this method that you speak of. We do have items that do such a thing. I personally am unable to use such items. If you can prove these people true, I may be able to get them to fix the rest of the city.
That would be ideal then. Then we might be able to get this place back up and running. Can you make an excuse to get them all in one room so that we can do it in one fell swoop?
He whistles loud, just like that. Just I personally can't do the whistle, but you hear it just soar through and echo throughout the entire room. And that dwarf that had seen you before comes rushing through the door, running back to where he was. Yes, King. He mentions to him, bring my advisors in.
Out of curiosity, because I'm now being a bit doubtful about this protection from good and evil, these Yak-folk would have to be a fey fiend or undead or something like that. Do they count as human? Do they count as a fiend or a monstrosity that Aaron would be aware of?
You, from having seen the Yak-folk in their true form, recognize that they are monstrosities.
Can Aaron then use primeval awareness now he's thinking about it?
Would dispel magic work, or is it a curse?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Okay. So here's the thing, and I don't mind letting you guys know how this works, because maybe you can help me to make sure that we get this right. Until the possession ends, the Yak-folk controls the body, and the Yak-folk himself cannot be targeted by any attack, spell, or other effect. It retains its alignment, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, and proficiencies. Otherwise, it is just controlling another body. So, in terms of your primeval awareness, as it stands right now, you push out your senses, Aaron, and you cannot sense any monstrosities within the city.
I would argue that I'm not trying to directly attack that thing. I'm just trying to sense its presence. It didn't say it was masking itself. It said I can attack it with a spell or an effect, or target it with a spell or effect.
I would be inclined to say that it would be a similar way of adjudicating an area of effect versus a target. So a fireball can hit something that can't be targeted by something.
Yeah, the other thing what I want to carry with the thing is, it's a passive skill. I'm not directly targeting it. I'm just sensing the presence of from
the possession lasts this might help clear things up. The possession lasts until either the body drops to 0 hit points, the Yak Folk ends the possession as an action, or the Yak Folk is forced out of the body by an effect such as the Dispel Evil and Good spell. So if we specify and look up the Dispel Evil and Good, shimmering energy surrounds and protects you from Fey, undead, and creatures originating from beyond the material plane. For the duration, Celestials, Elementals, Fey, Fiends, and Undead have disadvantage on attack rolls. You can end the spell early by performing one of the following actions. Break enchantment. A creature you touch is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed by such creatures.
Well, that wouldn't work either, then, because this is a monstrosity, so it wouldn't work.
Right. But this is suggesting that it can be forced out by effects similar to a Dispel Evil and Good spell. I'm going to put it out there that a Dispel Magic may do the trick.
I'm not reading anything that says that it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So why would Protection from Evil and Good not work if you target the host creature?
With the fact that Protection from Evil and Good just simply states that the target gets advantage on the save to kick it out, this possession specifically says that the target, the possessed creature, is incapacitated and loses all control of its body until the Yak Folk leaves. Yeah, so protection wouldn't work. Dispel Magic, I would say, has a chance of kicking out the possessing creature.
I would note that its range is exactly 120 feet. Just throwing that out there, since we were 120 feet away from the king and queen, and the king was last seen in the presence of a Yak Folk. It might behoove us to exercise that range on the target-rich area in front of us.
But also, can Aaron... We haven't really decided on what Aaron's primal awareness can do, being that it's a passive feature and not a direct target spell.
So the way I imagine your primeval awareness works is not so much that you just suddenly you have a minimap in your mind of the location of every monstrosity, more that you sense the way the world reacts to such a creature in the area. So you know that if a monstrosity is in this particular area, they will have done certain things, as is naturally them, that would have shifted and changed the natural form of places. So you would be able to detect that monstrosities are here. However, unfortunately, I would argue that because the monstrosities are technically hidden inside of a humanoid, you won't be able to pinpoint which one is which, only know that there is a monstrosity within the group, if that helps.
Okay, so I can't pinpoint it, but I've got a vague area.
Like, if you push out your primeval awareness, what is your range on the primeval awareness?
6 miles.
6 miles. Okay, so that covers pretty much the entirety of Citadel Felbar. You are able to detect that there are 10 Yak Folk or 10 monstrosities in the city, though their exact whereabouts you are unsure about. But you know that there are 10.
Okay, and we're only saying that because they're being obscured by the humans. Because normally I could tell where they are. Alright, okay. I will say to Loic, I think it's 10. So we've got a number. I just can't pinpoint.
That's still helpful.
Being obscured, but that helps us with a number. At least we know if we can identify these 10 people.
Okay. So by now, the advisors have been pulled in the place. Every single one of them appears to be shackled. Chains going all through. There are 15 advisors. 12 that are wearing red robes, 3 of which that are wearing gold robes.
Right. Oh, are you ritualizing this?
Me?
To Loic? Detect magic, are you going to ritualize?
I'm actually going to spend a spell slot on mine this time, because since the king is so far away, I'm going to have to infuse it with some lore mastery in order to reach him.
Okay.
So the group of advisors are pulled into the room, and they're pulled near you guys, but no one is allowed past that line that's 150 foot away from the king and queen. So you're casting detect magic on just generally, and you're trying to be able to detect if there's any sort of magical essence coming off of the king and queen.
Mm-hmm. And then after they're done, I'll turn around and start down the line.
Okay. After casting the spell, you look around. You see that the king and queen themselves do have magical auras coming off of them. 2 of the advisors also have magical auras, both of which are wearing gold robes.
All right, and what school?
Going to investigate the 2 advisors, that is transmutation magic, and as you look closer to them, you see that the magical aura seems to be coming from the entire body, not just any particular items or clothing. In order to detect specifically the king and queen, I would assume you need to get a little bit closer, maybe. So right now you can't quite pick out which school of magic is on them.
I'm going to ask them. No, I'm not going to ask them, because that might be rude. Gamel's not here. I could really use his help.
What would Gamel do?
I would ask him if he thinks that it would be insulting to ask the king what kind of magic he's got on him right now, and the queen.
He says, if you word it right, you might get him to show off. And so he shouts out loud to the king, "O mighty wonderful king, we've heard many rumors of you. The magic that my friend here is using is pinging off of some wonderful essence that seems to be coming off of your great armor or weapons or something, maybe even your throne. We simply ask, what powerful essences would a king such as yourself have access to right now?" A smile crosses the king's face. It's like, "Naturally, my armor and weapons are all enchanted. All deal as much damage as a king deserves to deal." I hope that helps. Make
Not really.
a investigation check from where you are.
Okay.
Okay. Though you can't quite see the magical school, because there's a blend of magical schools, particularly on the king's clothing, you are able to detect that the magical essence is coming from their clothing and not...
I give a little sigh of
both
relief.
King Morin and Queen Tithmel are not inhabited, not possessed.
All right. I'm going to telepathically to my comrades tell them that the 2 over here in the gold robes are putting out a transmutation vibe.
Can Aaron draw his sword?
You can.
Whoa.
Immediately, everyone in the room also draws their swords.
We don't know if that's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Good king. It's just a precaution. These 2. Can we?
Without looking too obvious. Yeah.
No. Like it's like we need to. I thought we were actually pulling these guys out of the line and doing something with them.
So there's a line of 15 people, and 3 of them are wearing gold robes, and Loic has pointed to 2 of them. Or pointed out 2 of them.
So we want to talk to these 2 and separate them from the others?
Yeah.
The 2 dwarves that are there. What have we done? We haven't done anything, but what's this about?
It's alright. It'll all be explained in just a moment.
My good king, please, who are these strangers that have come to question us?
There's guards with them, aren't there? I'd say there's other guards in that room.
Yes, there are.
Could you just bring them to the middle here and away from the others?
They grab them. They unhook chains that are linked between all 15 of these advisors, and they get the 2 out, pull them out, push them down on their knees in front of you all. So, the king calls out to you. You've picked 2. Why? How? What is next?
Telepathically, I'm going to tell him what we're about to do, which is to draw the yak folk out of the bodies. And we know because they have transmutation magic on them, which means that they are hiding something physical. So
he looks a little impressed.
I don't even notice.
Very well.
Am I doing it? Well, what are we doing? Are we doing Dispel Magic, or are we doing Protection of...
Do one each. Do one each.
No. I don't want to waste my spell slots.
I'll do it.
Okay. So you're casting Dispel Evil at its base level. Okay. Go ahead and roll a spellcasting ability check. What is your spellcasting ability?
Charisma.
As a paladin, you should be charisma, correct? Okay, charisma. Alright. So it would be a d20 with your charisma and proficiency bonus added to it. Okay. Yeah. You cast Dispel Magic on one of them, obviously because you can only target one thing, and immediately you sense that the magic connected with something. The body begins that familiar lurching and convulsing and shuddering as you see the other dwarf start screaming and shouting at you all, trying to make it look like he's terrified of this, almost going a little overboard with it, as the other one just starts hacking. As this entire large creature, monstrosity, just pours out of its jaw in front of you all. Having been forcefully dispelled, the yak folk body is a little bit stunned, but sure enough, a yak folk covered in saliva and bile is in front of you.
Can Aaron pull the body of the dwarf away at a small distance just to cover him?
The body is unconscious completely.
Yeah, but I just want to get him out of any harm's way. And then cover that one that's like convulsing on the floor with the blade, and then the other one. Do the other one.
I didn't do anything. Otherwise, no. What vile magic is this? As the magic hits him, go ahead and roll another spellcasting ability check. 19. Again, another solid shot. You connect the body as mid-sentence as he's trying to beg, please leave me. No. Again, this form just starts to be vomited out of this dwarf. You've got a small dwarf with a large creature just pouring out of its throat. And the body drops limp, still shackled. Aaron, you grab the second dwarf body and pull him off to the side next to the other one. They're now lying, both of them unconscious. And you have two yak folk who are stunned on the floor, covered in goop.
Tiredly, I instruct the king to bind them and make sure they can't possess anyone else.
Loic,
They immediately do.
could you coax the truth out of one of these two to determine the other 8 conspirators?
I, without saying anything else, snap my head to one of the yak folk that just came out, and I will spend 2 psi points and ask him telepathically the names of their hosts of the remaining infiltrated yak folk.
Names of the hosts. As he tries to push it off, but his stunned mind just dizzying, you can sense that he just can't quite control. The names just start popping into his head, and we're actually going to stop the session there tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
It was a little bit shaky there for a second. I had no idea that the dragon was going to come, obviously. But in Faerun, every day is a busy day. No good time to go to Arborea. Or put your armor on. Or summon elementals.
Yeah.
Always happens when you're away. So those that would be thinking about it, FYI, at a giant's normal walking pace, the distance from Ironslag to Newfort should be a 4-day trip. So if you're expecting them to go to Newfort, it'll take them 4 days. I don't know whether or not they will, or you don't know that kind of thing, but you know that if they are going to go there, that's how long it'll take them. Well done, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll work out additional XP if anyone got any later. Erin and Arte, you should have got 2,000 for the battle with the dragon. Would have been more, but Brassic helped.
Fair enough.
We really missed our opportunity to take the ship. We could have blamed it all on the green dragon.
Technically, we could have just all run underneath the ship and just let him, like, lock the door and just let him gas the ship.
Which ones did we lose, by the way? Priscilla and...
Priscilla. We have one called Priscilla.
The chief engineer.
If the chief engineer is not Scotty, I'm just disappointed.
No, chief engineer is Delphine. She's still alive.
Oh, sorry.
So
Yep.
you've still got Delphine, you've still got Nizroth, you've got Brassic, Laz, you've got Oriscus and Trout. You
Trout is-
lost.
yeah.
Yeah, you lost Perella and Zaltia.
What did they do?
They were in like a second group. They either manned the shifting of the ship, the small power whenever they needed to, or they manned the weapons on the opposite shift.
Yeah, non-essential systems is fine.
Then I will see you guys later.
Good night, everybody.
Have fun.